Welcome to Bay Sunday, everyone. I'm your host, Frank Malico. Good to have you with us. We got a great show for you this morning, and we begin with an incredible journey. Our first guest grew up in Nazi Germany, but fought for the United States in World War II, a German Jew that saw it all in Hitler's Germany, but moved to the States just before the war broke out, all the while clinging to his love for flora and fauna, a landscape architect who weaves his life's journey through his passion for plants and flowers. His book, Chasing Spring, is getting rave reviews, so let's say hi to a gentleman, 96-year-old Ernest Wertheim. How are you, sir?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Good to have you with us. Well, let's talk about the cover of your book, because you've got a crocus that's blooming out of the elements, out of the snow. And there's a lot of symbolism there. Tell us about that.
Well, when I was very young, I was fascinated that a flower could go through the snow and show its beautiful color. May it be like the book in blue or in yellow or in white. And that was the time when I got interested in plants. And I'm still interested in plants.
Well, you were a landscape architect for 70 years, right?
For more 70.
Oh, I said 70, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about your life in Germany. You left in the late 30s. Your mother sent your younger brother and you over to the States. What was it like in Germany in the 1930s?
Well, I have to correct you. My younger brother was on the Kindertransport to England. The British people allowed 10,000 children of parents that were in concentration camps. Mm-hmm. So my brother went from Germany in the Kindertransport to England. I went from Germany to the United States.
To the U.S.
We only joined again after I got my feet on the ground after the war, and then sent him a ticket to come as a guest to
bring
San
him back
Francisco.
to be reunited. You say goodbye to your mother in Hamburg. She got money somehow to get you out of Germany to save your life. Do you remember that day?
Well, when she said goodbye to me in Hamburg, I had all my correct papers with me to get out of Germany, get into the United States. But then when I came to the border, which my book describes, I was arrested. And that's where the story is very, very rough.
Yeah.
But when my mother said goodbye to me, we were not even thinking that there would be any trouble. The trouble was because some inspectors went on their own. Mm-hmm. Under Hitler, they got away with murder.
Yeah.
And but when she said goodbye to me, she had said goodbye to her youngest child 2 weeks earlier.
To London, yeah.
And she said, take care of my baby.
Yeah, and you did, eventually.
Yes.
You come to the States, you come over on a boat, you come in, see Lady Liberty, and down the road you enlist in the U.S. military.
Yes, as an enemy alien.
As an enemy alien, and you end up in the South Pacific of all places.
Well, you have to read the book to get all the answers, because on your program, we only have a couple minutes.
I know. Well, I'm fast forwarding because you met General Douglas MacArthur.
Yes.
And you had quite an interesting introduction to him. Tell us that story, which is incredible.
Well, we were in combat area, and normally the general would not show up in a combat area. And suddenly a jeep drove up, and the colonel asked, is there anybody from the 40th Division? And I was attached to the 40th Division. So I said, yes, Colonel, what can I do for you? And the colonel took his hand and pointed to a jeep. And the jeep had 5 stars. There were only a couple generals at that time that had 5 stars. And I walked over and saluted and gave my name, Ernest Wertheim, Lieutenant Ernest Wertheim. And I'm sure that I didn't say it as clearly because I was taken completely by surprise. Nobody knew the general had driven up. And the general stretched out his hand, got me completely at ease, and it said, it's nice to meet you, Lieutenant Wertheim. And I was wondering, how could he pronounce my name so well? Mm-hmm. And so that's more in the book. I mean, it's a lengthy
Well, you
story.
actually asked him why you were not sent to Europe too, right? At that
Yes,
point,
I did. When we were in the Jeep.
in the Jeep.
You have to read the whole
Oh,
book.
well, wait now. And the Jeep was attacked, right, by a Japanese patrol. He
Yes.
took your gun, shot three Japanese soldiers.
He
right?
asked me for my rifle.
Okay, very good.
And then he gave it back to me and said, I know that the rule is the one who shoots the rifle cleans it,
Cleans the rifle.
but you have the privilege of cleaning your own rifle.
You know, I could talk to you for an hour here. There's so many great stories in here, and you're a true gentleman, and quite a life you've lived, and God bless.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming in. I know you live here in San Francisco, and you've been a landscape architect for 70 plus years, and a beautiful wife. We'll say hi to your wife, Margaret, for us. 73 years of marriage.
She's mine, remember.
That she is. Okay, Ernest, you stay right there. And if you would like a copy of Ernest's book, Chasing Spring, nice and easy, go to Amazon and buy a copy. And you will not be disappointed. We are pulling out the violin with our next guest, so stay right there, folks. We'll be right back.